If you're a woman, either in menopause or after menopause, you know how good strength training is for you. But there are a lot of myths surrounding that. In this video, we're going to bust those myths. Here's what you can expect to learn. First, you'll learn the truth about the menopause workout. Then, I'll teach you about two exercises commonly recommended by YouTubers that are specialists in menopause, and yet I would be very cautious with these exercises. And lastly, we'll talk about the myth of metabolism boosting, which exercises actually boost your metabolism, and the distinction between short-term metabolism boosting and long-term. Before we dive in, if you want to see when I publish more videos about menopause as well as myth busting, click like and subscribe to my channel. A little bit about me. My name is Igor. I am the author of the Amazon book, Mastering Menopause, Science-Based Menopause Diet, Exercise, and Supplements for Women. As well, I've been a personal trainer since 2006, and I've trained other trainers in my methodology, specifically around menopause, chronic conditions, osteoporosis, and so on, because I speak at personal training conferences and have been doing so since 2013. As well, I've done over 400 presentations to some of Canada's largest corporations, including RBC, IBM, American Express, and others. Now, let's jump in. Here's the thing. There's no such thing as a menopause workout, despite what a lot of YouTubers tell you. Because to put together a workout, it's not enough to know that you are menopausal. There's a lot of different things you need to know, like what is your current exercise routine like and how well is it working? Next, what injuries do you bring to the table? Do you have any hip pain, knee pain, shoulder pain, or anything else? Also, what medications are you taking? Because yes, medications impact your exercise. For example, things like statins, cholesterol lowering medications. They can slow down your muscle recovery, workout to workout. Beta blockers for high blood pressure. They can make you dizzy if you do the wrong exercise, and so on. So these make a difference. What health conditions do you bring to the table? Do you have osteoporosis, which I have another book and a video and many videos about? Do you have diabetes? Do you have high blood pressure? Do you have osteoarthritis? What do you bring to the table? And most importantly, the single most important variable to know what should be your workout isn't your life stage. It's not the fact that you're in menopause or not. It's actually your goal. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to lose body fat, gain muscle, get more toned, improve your sleep, decrease lower back pain, or something else? Speaking of your goal, comment below. What is your goal? Because again, I can't make a video unless I know what you want me to say, unless I know what your goals are. So what are your goals? Comment below, let me know. And if enough of you request the same topic in menopause, I'll publish a video on that. I can promise you that. So like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you'll know when I publish a video for your goal. Now, here are two exercises that are frequently recommended during and after menopause. One is, well, this is a deadlift, but specifically heavy weightlifting. And the other thing that is frequently recommended is plyometrics or jumping exercises. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't do plyometrics, and I'm not saying you should not do heavy lifting. I'm just saying to be very careful with it. Now, why? Because of the effect of estrogen on musculoskeletal performance and injury risk. Why do YouTubers often recommend heavy lifting and plyometrics? To work your fast twitch muscle fibers, which are often lost with both menopause and age. But again, it has to be considered on a risk to reward ratio on each woman independently. So in one study, what they did is researchers removed the ovaries from rats, thereby lowering the estrogen levels drastically. 14 days after ovary removal, the rats had a slower recovery. During days 7 to 14, the number of injured fibers increased. And after 14 days, the rats were given estrogen to bring their levels back to what they were before the removal of their ovaries, and the damaged fibers healed. What does that tell us? If there is no estrogen or very low estrogen compared to premenopausal levels, it means that your risk of injury is higher. And what makes your injury risk also higher? Well, heavy lifting and plyometrics. So I'm not saying don't do them, I'm just saying be very careful with them. Here's another study titled Effective Estrogen on Tendon Collagen Synthesis, Tendon Structural Characteristics, and Biomechanical Properties in Postmenopausal Women. Here's what happened. Researchers gave postmenopausal women enough estrogen to bring them up to premenopausal levels. Here's what they found. First of all, collagen synthesis improved by 47%. Grip strength also improved pretty significantly, and muscle mass improved a little bit, with no changes in nutrition or exercise. Again, without exercise, grip strength was improved and muscle mass was gained. And that's just because of the effects of estrogen. So here's one common myth that YouTubers spread, which is there is one metabolism boosting workout. Here's the thing. Here's one study published titled Daily Energy Expenditure Through the Human Life Course. And what they did is researchers looked at the metabolisms of people as young as 8 days old and as old as 95 years old. And here's what they found. Between ages 20 and 60, there is zero change in metabolism whatsoever. Now, do some people gain weight between 20 and 60? Yes, but there are other reasons for weight gain besides a slower metabolism, which we'll talk about in a second. Only after age 60 does the metabolism slow down, but only by a little bit, only about 0.7% per year. In other words, if somebody is gaining more than 0.7% body fat per year, that's not just due to metabolism. There are other reasons for it. But again, ages 20 to 60, no difference. And after 60, 0.7% per year. And so here's another study titled Traversing the Menopause, Changes in Energy Expenditure and Body Composition. And again, there is muscle loss, and that's the biggest reason for the drop in metabolism, which as slight as it is. And so we should distinguish between short-term metabolism boosting versus long-term metabolism boosting, which unfortunately, a lot of people who claim that this workout boosts the metabolism don't make that distinction. Here's what that is. Short-term metabolism boosting is only boosting your metabolism during exercise. That's it. You work out for that hour or half an hour or whatever, your metabolism is up because when your pulse is, 130, 140, 150, you burn more calories than when your pulse is resting, when it's 70 or 75 or 65. But then you finish the workout and the calorie burning stops. It goes back to what it used to be. Now, yeah, there's the myth of the afterburn effect that you burn more calories after the workout. And again, I shouldn't say myth, I should only say part truth because the effect is very, very slight. For all intents and purposes, consider your calorie burning to be over within 10, 15 minutes of finishing a workout. So that's short-term metabolism boosting. That's during the exercise session itself. Long-term metabolism boosting happens as even when you're at rest, when you're asleep, etc. And that only happens when you build muscle, but even then, not to any great extent. Every pound of muscle you gain burns between 6 and 10 calories per day. So you have to build a substantial amount of muscle to make any difference whatsoever. But that's not even the whole story. Fat also burns calories at rest. 1 pound of fat burns 2 calories at rest. So the difference between the calorie burn of muscle and fat is only between 4 and 8 calories per pound per day. So again, we want to distinguish between a short-term metabolism boosting and long-term metabolism boosting. So if the metabolism doesn't really slow down during menopause and it doesn't really slow down until after menopause by 0.7% per year, why is weight gain? Well, there are other reasons for weight gain besides a slowing down of metabolism. There is something called total daily energy expenditure, which is where all of the calories you burn throughout the day are lost or are spent. One source is metabolism, or what's called BMR, basal metabolic rate. And that can be anywhere from 50% up to 70% or 75%. These numbers are just ballparks. There's something called the thermic effect of food, and that's about 10%. The thermic effect of food states that whenever you eat food, you don't absorb 100% of the calories, you spend approximately 10% of the calories that you just ate to digest, assimilate, and process the food that you ate. The next portion is what's called NEAT, N-E-A-T, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Another term for that is NEPA, N-E-P-A. And what that is these are small movements you do throughout the day that are not purposeful exercise that yet still burn calories. For example, taking the stairs instead of the elevator or escalator burns calories. Twirling your hair burns calories. Bouncing your ankle or clicking a pen burns calories. All these little things can add up to hundreds of calories per day. And the last source of energy expenditure is exercise. Now, again, these numbers are close to correct, but it's going to vary day to day and woman to woman based on how much you exercise and a bunch of other factors. And so what happens at menopause to total daily energy expenditure? Well, what happens is involuntary activity drops. Okay, so going back to our slide, it's actually not metabolism that slows down. It's actually NEAT. That this 15% might go down to 10% or 5% or even less. And so it's this involuntary activity that's largely responsible for the drop in energy expenditure during menopause, not the metabolism. So if involuntary activity drops, what can you do to compensate for it? Voluntary activity, i.e. exercise. And if you're wondering, how should I exercise to put on muscle during and after menopause? Well, I have a very thorough 20-minute video discussing this topic exactly. And you can either click on it on your screen below or on your screen right now or in the description below. Thank you and goodbye.